Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Hedera, aka HBAR. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask you guys, could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate it. And if you do find any of the information in this video valuable, useful, or interesting in any sort of way, definitely hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on to never miss a future update. So overall, yes, I am still focused on Bitcoin. It's pretty much my main focus point, and it has been for a little bit of time now. I am definitely watching altcoins a little bit. Nothing too crazy. I mean, in terms of gains, like, Hedera has been making a little bit of movement, but nothing too crazy. Like, it's fairly minimal. There is some altcoins that are doing double-digit figures, like Polkadot, as well as I think it was... Yeah, so Solana did like about a 14% run. We do see, Polkadot up about like almost 5%. It was up like 10% earlier today. But for the most part, minimal gains right now in the, altcoin market, which is totally fine. I'm not too concerned with that at all. For HBAR, we are up about 3.14%, which is nothing too significant, or 3.41% now, which isn't too significant, but we are trying to break over some, levels here, specifically like 23 cents, which we haven't been above 23 cents in a while, actually, even going back as far as like, the 23rd. So I definitely am watching this month closely. I told you guys that this month was going to be a little bit of a significant month to watch for. Don't know exactly how much percentage gains we're going to be making, but we do see Ethereum kind of gaining on Bitcoin in terms of dominance, and we do see Ethereum making some gains overall on the 7-day and even on the 24-hour span. So I am watching that closely as well in terms of, Ethereum taking the wheel a little bit. But I will say this, I am kind of focused on Hedera in 2022, mainly because we are seeing a lot of updates overall. I'm actually really excited for some of the roadmap updates. I'm actually going to open this in a new tab just to make sure that, we kind of address that real quick. But mainly I want to talk to you guys about some updates that are going to be happening within the Hedera scene that are going to be making some huge waves here shortly. So let's actually just jump into that. So first off, this tweet coming from HBAR to the moon is pretty much accurate in terms of what we are waiting for, especially it being an HBAR variant. But Smart Contracts 2.0 is coming on February 3rd. Full set of fast ABFT secure cheap services will be available to anyone in the world. Cryptocurrency, HCS, HTS, and Smart Contracts 2.0. Hedera will see exponential growth from this point on. And honestly, I do completely agree here. Like, a lot of people think that we're just kind of, saying, yeah, it's going to go, but it's not going to do anything, right? A lot of people are kind of losing hope or faith, if you will, in, Hedera. But I just want you all to understand that from Q1 all the way to Q2 of 2022, we have a ton of updates to watch for. Specifically, yes, scalable smart contracts are definitely something to really kind of watch out for and pay attention to. I think that this is going to be very significant. And of course, if we are talking about, Q2, we also are watching for the staking rewards program as well. This is going to be pretty big. This is going to allow a lot of demand for, of course, HBAR and for the network. We've seen staking being pretty big throughout this entire market. There's a lot of altcoins that have staking implemented that are doing incredibly well. We've seen some great growth in terms of price as well for a lot of those assets that did have staking opportunities for the holders, which is, of course, a huge incentive, especially if you are holding an asset like HBAR, for an example, for like over a year, and, staking does earn you residual income as well as a lot more, tokens. So that is a pretty big selling point, especially from a long-term holder of some altcoins that I am staking. I think that, that is going to be pretty big, especially even running nodes as well. Like, running nodes is a pretty big thing as well, because we know with like DAG, for an example, DAG was one that you could pretty much run nodes with, and it was a huge demand for those individuals that were holding, especially going all the way back to like, 3, 4, 5 cents. So that's pretty big, right? But there is also some other things going on within the Hedera scene. Specifically, we will come back to this and talk about this here shortly, but I do want to talk to you guys about Hextrust. So I'm sure that you all are aware of who Hextrust is. They are pretty much, custodying a ton of digital assets, and they're really kind of talking about Hedera here being, possibly the blockchain killer, if you will. I always don't like, I never really liked having some sort of, name or like sensational title like the blockchain killer, the Ethereum killer, because we hear those terms being thrown thrown around a lot in this market. There's a few assets that I do kind of hold to leverage their success over blockchain or even Ethereum products. But of course, in terms of Hedera, is it truly the next major thing in this market? Is it the next third generation, blockchain, if you will? In my opinion, I think that Hedera is offering some incredible, efficiencies, especially compared to what's out there right now in this market. It's the number one reason why I do believe that Hedera is going to succeed long term and even short term, just because we see a ton of growth happening already within the Hedera ecosystem, and I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited for the future of HBAR as a token, but also for HBAR to power this incredible ecosystem. I think a lot of people kind of get wrapped up in the idea on like, how is HBAR going to, increment value? Well, it's going to increment value just by being what it is, the fuel for Hedera. And of course, we do see here from HBAR Daily, HBAR will be the most bullish layer 1 in the coming bull run. Walmart Metaverse, Microsoft Metaverse, PayPal is GC, Visa is GC, SpaceX is GC, USA, UK CBDC, $10 to $30 HBAR is a target. Now, I just want you guys to all understand right now, currently, right? Everybody's kind of focused on prices. I don't like to throw out prices like this. I will say this, I've always said $3 to $6 is my bare minimum targets, especially even during this bull run currently. They still are, intact. I still believe that $3 to $6 is achievable. I said that $10 is a stretch. I said that it is possible, but it is a stretch. But I will say this, when we're talking about GC members, we don't know who's going to be announced as the GC members. We know that, in my opinion at least, I think that we could possibly see the 39 seats on the GC being filled this bull run. That's going to be very bullish as well. That's something to really look forward to. But we also see a ton of other updates happening within the Hedera scene, specifically regarding the Metaverse. We also see a lot of updates happening within the Hedera ecosystem in terms of use cases with tokenization, NFTs, AI-driven products as well. I'm very excited for a lot of that to actually come to fruition. Who knows how long it will be until some of those major use cases are actually built out fully. I look forward to seeing more updates from Neuron as well and some other major use cases that are already in store for Hedera. I'm just excited for this year. And we also see our influential people 8 noticing Hedera's green credentials. I think he meant to say ain't noticing, but who cars or are, sorry. Wow. People are noticing Hedera's green credentials. So this is actually a fairly, pretty big individual. I mean, he's focused on climate change, 25.8K followers, nothing too crazy there. But in general, right, when we're talking about individuals noticing, Hedera, understanding the efficiencies behind Hedera in terms of it being more efficient than even Visa, like that's pretty big, okay? Like this is an asset that is providing massive amounts of, value that is really kind of better than anything out there currently, even in regards to crypto, but non-crypto too. Like this is using less energy than Visa and MasterCard, which is huge, especially from the standpoint of sustainability. Now, we also see here one reason why many people hate cryptos like HBAR, Q, and TXDC. They're boring relative to most of the other hot coins out there right now. No high APY staking, institutional focused, NWO top 1% vibes, against original ethos of crypto. These are the coins most likely to thrive after regulations. And I want you to all understand that right now, like, yeah, watching the price of HBAR compared to most is a little bit underwhelming. I mean, technically speaking, right? If we're talking about HBAR being around like 23 cents, and we're kind of comparing it and contrasting it to other things like, for example, like Ethereum, Solana, other assets that have made significant traction this year, or I should say last year. And the reason why I say Ethereum is because like Ethereum's run is not done. Like we could technically see Ethereum at around like 5 to 10K. But Solana, for example, like doing like 27,000% runs, 30,000% runs, like 50,000% runs. Like that's crazy to think about. But everybody kind of compares and contrasts HBAR to all of these other assets, but I don't think people realize that, listen, at the end of the day, this, like HBAR might be a boring, asset on the surface, but look at behind the scenes on what they're building. Look at the partnerships that they already have in place. Like, it's truly massive if you're kind of looking at it that way. I understand that there's not a lot of exciting things happening, but just pay attention to what's going to be released and updated here shortly. Like, for example, staking, smart contracts 2.0. Like, there's a lot of things to really kind of look forward to, especially this year alone, that could provide massive amounts of price appreciation. And I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about Metaverse. So we just announced our partnership last week with Hedera, which is a new environmentally friendly blockchain. It's kind of like Ethereum. They've actually done more transactions than Ethereum, but it's way faster. And of course, this kind of breaks down everything about Hedera. Specifically talking about NFTs and stuff like that in terms of Metaverse. I think that Metaverse is an asset, or I shouldn't say an asset, but a company that people need to pay attention to. This is going to be pretty big. Like, we always talk about the Metaverse, we talk about NFTs and gaming and stuff. Like, the Metaverse is something to not disregard in terms of its scale. Like, this has not actually hit any sort of pinnacle in terms of success or growth, but the scale of the Metaverse is going to be absolutely massive compared to what we've seen in NFTs and stuff, because we already see the demand behind it from high tier companies, going back to Facebook, we're talking about Google, we're talking about Apple. I mean, a lot of companies, including even banks, are moving in on the Metaverse. And Metaverse as a company itself really kind of strides themselves on really kind of becoming the giant of course, the Metaverse. And I think that this is a fairly large company, and I think that this is going to continue to grow and grow. They have some incredible global brands that are already trusting them. Some already mentioned companies as well, like from T-Mobile to Forbes to Oracle, etc. I think that this is I think that this is a company to really watch for, especially considering the names here like Adidas, Whirlpool. I mean, there's some large names here, and I really think that everybody should be paying attention to assets like this, especially considering the fact that they have chosen Hedera out of all the other assets. And I've talked to you guys about the Metaverse in the past, like this company specifically I've talked to you guys about in the past as well. I'm just very excited for things like this to actually come to fruition and be built out fully. I think that it's really going to be cool. And they're even talking about the future of training is spatial. Like, they're actually showing you guys, a breakdown of training in like healthcare and stuff. I think that this is awesome, to say the least. Like, I think that this is very cool. Things like this is what's going to allow the Metaverse to be adopted in at massive scales, to really kind of achieve. I mean, like, look at this. This is huge. So understand that when we're talking about like use cases like this, when we're talking about training, when we're talking about the future of creation in terms of vehicles, cars, modeling, just the Metaverse in general, like, I think people need to realize the scale factors of just a company that is one of many that are already on board with Hedera. Like, look at this. Like, let's start a new adventure: virtual showrooms, product showcases and configurations, training and information, custom development, 3D digitization of assets, on-premise integration, white label, and real-time collaboration. Like, this is huge. So understand that they are actually building out some very strong things. They even have marketing on here as well. Like, the future of marketing is virtual. Like, this is just so cool in my opinion. And like, this is going to continue to grow and grow and grow in demand. And we do see the mission here, the vision, strategy, again, all the statistics behind this company as well. I'm very excited for things like this to be built out fully. And we do see their past clients are like Comcast, Bell, Huawei, Samsung. I mean, these are some huge names. I just want you guys to all understand that some of these also kind of go hand in hand with, what's being built out in the Metaverse currently with NFTs and stuff. Like, even talking about the Museum of the Future, like digital art museums, art galleries, like, that's huge. And of course, we look at like Microsoft connections here still in place for, of course, Hedera. Just understand what you are holding. Understand what we are really kind of focused on here in terms of the main vision from even Hedera's side of view, which is of course disrupting as many markets as they possibly can, because they're moving in on pretty much everything. I don't need to tell you guys that. All you have to do is go read some of the case studies. Of course, there's other websites out there that really kind of go in depth on some of these case studies. But from healthcare to agriculture to technology to even social media to Web3, NFTs, I mean, it just spans numbers by numbers by numbers in terms of the use cases that are built on Hedera already. And I know some of these use cases might not be transacting currently or utilizing Hedera just yet, but these are use cases that are being built out currently that are going to be something to really kind of watch for in the future and really kind of look at. I have done breakdowns of some of these use cases already in the past, specifically, talking about like even FPOS and stuff like that. Like, I just want you to all understand the scale behind just one of these names, and really kind of compare and contrast it to like the 100+ names that are going to be listed on these users in terms of this slide in general. Like, the amount of scale is going to be massive. So with all of that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.